Today, we'll be shooting a scene in a very lovely location. We're currently in an industrial-style loft, and we brought with us the Dedolight portable studio kit. We have 3 hard lights at our disposal, and one of them even has an imaging projector, which means that we can project all sorts of patterns on the walls. And we also have 2 soft lights. Now, taken together, this means that we have a lot of different options. We can create a lot of different styles for our scenes. But our current location is presenting a bit of a problem. And that is because there's a lot of sunlight streaming in through the windows. And the exposure in the background is actually about 5 to 6 stops higher than it is on my face. And we can try and deal with this problem in 2 ways. One, we could try and increase the amount of light we're outputting inside our location, or we could try and reduce the light coming in from the outside. Now, the first option would mean that you would try and color balance the light coming from the outside, with the sun being about 600 to 500 Kelvin, depending on the day, and that of our tungsten lights, which are about 3200 Kelvin. You could apply a CTB gel to this, and depending on the strength, you could lose up to 1/2 of a stop. And this is clearly not working to our advantage. So instead, we'll choose to do something about the light coming in. And we can do that by applying a gel to the windows. Now, this particular gel will solve both of our problems in one go, because not only does it include a neutral density filter, we also have a full CTO in here. So this reduces 1 stop from the ND, plus the addition of a full CTO. This means that we don't have to mess around with filters on our lights, which not only makes us faster, but it also retains the full light output of our fixtures. All we have to do now is set the white balance of our camera to tungsten light, and we're all set to go. And we can really take full advantage of the light shaping capabilities of this kit. So let's start. So, while our model, Lena, is struggling to open up a wine bottle, which I'm sure she'll manage, let's talk about what we just created. We had a small, simple dolly shot with Lena walking down to grab a nice glass of wine. Okay, so we sorted out the whole bottle situation, and right now we're at the end of our scene. So we have Lena sitting down, finally pouring that glass, and we have still a lot of ambient light coming in. And the light level right now is about 75 lux. And so we have some light coming in from behind the camera. On those windows we gelled as well. And we have light coming in from behind. And that means we have nicely balanced light. And this gives us the space to really use our key light. And so here, if you're going for a sort of natural but slightly glamorous look, you're not gonna drink the wine, or?
No, I actually don't drink.
Okay, yeah, should have thought of that. But we can still work on the light though. So we have a key light here, and at this distance it's going to be able to give us about 400 lux, which will mean that we can increase our exposure to about an f3.5. And that means that it'll nicely match the setting of our main camera right now, which is also set at f3.5. And this of course depends on the settings of your camera, but for us this is working quite nicely. What this does is, because we set the softbox at about a 45-degree angle off axis, as well as in height, it's going to fill in very nicely her face, but also reach the other side of her face, so it's not going to be completely in darkness. Of course, we still want to control the contrast a little bit. We don't want to overemphasize the direction. We can now turn on the fill light. So now with the fill light turned on, it's about an f2.2. It's about 200 lux, and this contrasts nicely with about the 600 lux coming in from our key light. So we have a nice contrast ratio here, and it's about 1:4 or 1:2. This is enough. We have our key light, we have our fill light, Now it's time to see if we can add something extra to it. We have a very natural lighting theme, but it's nice to add somewhat of a backlight. It's very important not to overdo it, and here we've attached one Dedolight to the staircase, and we spotted it in almost completely. It's focused at the back of her head, and the strength of it is about the same as the key light. So this means that we get a nice little hair light, but you have to be careful with the positioning. So now the lighting of our tenant is complete, and we can start thinking about the background. So, you know, doing great, still sitting still. And let's take a look what we can do with our imaging projector. Now it's very subtle, and of course you need to make sure that the stand is not wobbling. And we're motivating this streaking pattern created by the imaging projector with a small steel gobo with the stairwell. So we're motivating the light coming in from behind us and streaking through the stairwell and giving a nice pattern. Our last Dedolight is over here, and we're using it to light the stairs. It's not even at full power, we just need to have a little bit of extra light here. With all the lights in place, we have a very nice progression in lighting, and this will really help lighting for movement. As Lena's coming down, she's walking through light. Right here, she's still in relative darkness, and again here, she's fully covered by the light at her end mark. And that means that you get a little bit of perspective, and it keeps it interesting for, well, interesting for the viewers at least. But we can also do something different. We can make it a little bit more dramatic and, well, hopefully rekindle the interest of our model.
Can I go now?
Yes. Once we've explained all the lights. So maybe it's a bit over dramatic, but let's go through them anyway. We changed out our key light for something that is much harder. We've got an imaging projector here, and we have a really classic Venetian blinds going on here. In order to make this effect really profound, we really had to shut all the curtains and make sure we block as much light as we can. So rounding up the sequence is that here we have a very strong key light, and we need to fill it up ever so slightly. So we have a softbox with a grid, again to really minimize the light spill, giving us a contrast ratio of about 1:8. And that means that the softbox isn't doing a lot of work, but it's really necessary to make sure it doesn't go to complete the blackness. Since we want to make it sort of a thriller, and of course we're going a little bit over the top here, but we want to have a strong backlight. So we have not one, but two backlights. One is the backlight which we already had, and the second is another which we added to the exactly opposite in this camera. That gives it a really strong backlight. And we also wanted to do something with the stairs, because the stairs are sort of a natural cucullores, and you can really project some nice patterns with it. So to summarize, we can see that we have a small portable kit, and we can achieve a lot of looks with it. In our case, we did have to take care of the ambient lighting coming in from the outside. And just the addition of one single roll of gel solved a lot of problems for us. So we have a lot of different variety to choose from. We can go from really naturalistic light with the light that is available to us. We simply add some touches to it. Or if we block out most of the light, we can really create a dramatic look. Of course, this may not necessarily always be what you want, but just because this is a very small portable kit, you can still achieve a lot of results with it.